Hey friends, welcome to the DM's Craft. Now you may have noticed that I have a Quest Giver shirt on, right? Well, this is my first DM's Craft Quest Givers crossover, so super cool. And what I'm going to show you how to make today is this creature called the Sarlakarn, right? And this thing is super cool. Look at this thing. We got the miniatures out front for scale, and that's how big this thing is. This thing is like a ball, just basically a ball that lives under the ground and bursts out to attack. It's like a ball of acidic bile, a giant maw, and writhing tentacles with mouths, sucker mouths on the end. So a really deadly creature, a really cool creature, and a super easy build. I can't wait to show you this. Also, I have a little treat for you. My fellow quest giver, Gareth from the GMG Info, is going to be doing a little reading from our module, The Loyalists. They meet this character named Ahabet, and she is actually a Sarlakarn fighter, right? She seeks out these things to fight them. So she's a fun little NPC you run into, and he's going to do a reading from that. So I hope you enjoy that at the end of the build. And without further ado, let's hit the table and build this nice beastie. See you there. Alrighty, crafters, I got this flower from the Dollar Tree, right? And I'm going to cannibalize this thing, okay? Now, these stems are actually wires covered in plastic, okay? I'm going to pull the flower off. And where the flower attaches to the stem is this cool little, looks like a sucker mouth, and I'm going to use that in the project. Also, there's another plastic piece that holds the flower on, right? So I'm going to pull that out, stick it in the center, and then put it back on the wire piece. And this will be kind of the tendrils that come up from the ground. So pretty cool, really neat. Now I'm going to use a paper towel, wet it with water. I'm just using a regular spray bottle with water. Then I'll put my piece in there, my wire piece, and I'll kind of twist it. But see how I'm doing this? I'm kind of keeping the corner in the same place and then twisting it up so it makes it wider at the bottom as opposed to the top. So yeah, so very cool. I'm just going to rip the excess off where the wire ends. And cool. Now I'm going to add some water, watered down glue. This is 50% water, 50% glue, and kind of twist it up a little bit to get some texture on it. And this will make this super hard when it dries. And I'll just twist it into a nice, fun kind of tentacle shape. And kind of pat it down there. Let it dry. Cool. So here's some other pieces I got. Now I found a bigger one too. So I kind of want to do the mouth for the creature. And I'm going to put a smaller one in the bigger one. Hot glue it in there with my Surebonder. Put that in the center. And then I'm going to put that cut off wire there in the center with like a tongue, right? Popping out. And then I'll take that little piece that holds the flower on and put it on there. So it's like a little mini kind of sucker mouth at the end of the tongue. So really cool. For the body, I'm going to use a styrofoam ball, and it's 6 inches wide. But the great thing about it is it's already cut in half. So I don't have to worry about cutting this or anything. So it's perfect and ready to go right out of the package. Now I need to prep the body, and I'm going to use a spoon, right? And the Sarlakarn is essentially just this big orb that bursts from the ground with its tentacles and has a large gaping maw, right? So I'm going to create this place for the gaping maw. It kind of looks like the Death Star there. So I'm going to scrape that out and get kind of, where the mouth would be. Then I'm going to use a piece that I glued together, right, for the mouthpiece, and make sure that it's deep enough. I'm going to add a little more depth here because I want it to be a little deeper into the body of the thing. So yeah, so I'll just kind of scrape out. Easy enough to do. All right, so yeah, that's perfect. So awesome. There we go. We're set with the mouth there. Now I'm going to start putting Elmer's glue all on this, right? And I'm going to cover this with my paper towel technique. So it's just, I'm going to put a paper towel on top, wet it with normal water, just kind of push it down, and wet it again. And see how it's really filling in that shape? And it's covering up the styrofoam. Now I'm going to add some TP on top. And this just gives a more malleable layer besides the paper towel. That's why I like to do that. And let's kind of push it on. Also, you can use your brush. Sometimes the TP kind of sticks to your hand. So use a brush if you're having a problem with that. Just wet a brush. And look at that. Really nice. Super easy to do. Use my 50% water, 50% white glue. And just cover the whole thing. There we go. Now we have the problem with the folds on the bottom, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn it over and kind of fold those into the center, towards the center. And wet them a little bit with the brush. And so I want to get a nice, as flat as I can surface there. All right. And just use my 50% water, 50% white glue in a ketchup bottle. All right, now I'm going to start making where the base is for the tentacles, right? So I've got some washers here. It's an 1.25 inch washer. And I'm going to use just a piece from a shopping bag, like a paper shopping bag. I'll just glue that in a ring. That's just the handle from the shopping bag. Glue it in a ring. And I'll just glue it right to the washer. And I like washers because they give weight to the base, right? So they're harder to knock over. Okay, now that that's applied, I'll start adding some glue and pull from the center and kind of drag up onto that ring. Because what we're kind of going for with this is like the tentacles bursting from the ground, right? And there's a ring of dirt around it. So that's the idea. So then from the outside, just pull the hot glue in. Careful you don't glue your fingers to it. And just pull up and add some extra glue. Build it up so it looks like a mound around the center, right? Cool. All right. So now we've got those all done. We've got our tendrils. They're all dry. And I'm just going to glue those right on with the hot glue. So hot glue to hot glue. All right. Nice. Just kind of blend it in. You can pull up onto it. That gives it more adhesion. And there we go. Nice. Okay. So now I'm going to add some dirt to this to make it look like ground, right? So I'm just going to use my construction sand, which is just standard sand. And it just means it has all kinds of different size aggregate, not just sand in it. And you can find that at the link below. But yeah, just pour that on there, let that dry, and we'll do that for all the tendrils, all 6. We'll be good. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is kind of fill in the mouth. So I'm just going to use my hot glue, drag into the center, and this will give a nice texture to the mouth, right? So it looks kind of a gaping maw. And I love using the hot glue for texture. It's just so awesome. You get some really great effects. Just drag it through the glue, and you're good to go. I want to make the maw even more vicious looking, so I'm going to use fork tines, and these are just plastic forks. I got these at Chipotle, and I just wash them off after I'm done, save them, and use them for crafts. So I'm just going to cut the tines off these forks, and these will be kind of vicious, more fangage coming from the mouth. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that right now. Now I'm going to start putting these tines in the maw, and you can see how I'm kind of doing it like a clock, right? I'm adding, just at certain places here, almost like a clock face. Just adding the tines, the hot glue. Get a nice vicious looking maw going on there. So really, it's going to be really cool when we get this all set up and painted. But yeah, just add those. And nice. And then just kind of drag some hot glue around in the center there and pull it up a little bit on the tines just to make sure they're extra secure. Not too far, just on the tips. Nice, nice. All right, now I'm going to add that piece that we made earlier from the plastic plants and put it right in the center. So that is so vicious looking. Awesome. This players are going to be freaking out when they see this. All right. Now I'm going to do the plating on this thing. This thing has some kind of armor plates on it. I'm just going to draw these on with a Sharpie, and this will just guide me when I do the hot glue application to make the plates, right? So I don't have to guess, where it would be when I apply the hot glue. So I'll just have fun with it. Don't have to be perfect. Nice. I like the layout. Now I'll just use my hot glue, and I'm going to kind of ring those shapes with the hot glue. And just couldn't be easier with the Surebonder long nozzle here. And then I'll start filling them in. So I'll squirt some hot glue and kind of drag it to the edges of the shapes and use that long nozzle to blend it in. And you're going to end up with some really nice texture that fills in that shape and makes it pop from the surface. So yeah, there we are. Really cool. Can't wait to paint this puppy and show you how cool it looks. But yeah, there's the raised plates on the critter. First of all, I'm going to black bomb all the pieces with flat black spray paint, just cheap flat black spray paint. And now that that's done, I will paint the base with a dark brown, a burnt umber, because that's going to be the dirt where the tentacle is bursting out. Now these things generally live in like forests, so I'm going to go for that kind of a color scheme. So I've got some colors laid out here. One is a tan. It's actually a mushroom, so it's kind of an off tan here. I'm just doing the between the plates with that. And then I'm going to use a white and kind of get the edges of the plates with the white here. And it's okay if you get it in the between areas. It's kind of a wet on wet technique. And I'm going to use this really muted green for the plates. Now it looks like junk now, but wait till we get this finished. Okay. So we got all that on there. Nice. Kind of looks weird at the moment, but you'll see as we progress here. So now I'm going to use white and paint the, well, the fangs or the teeth here on the thing. So we got all that. Nice. And then just do a little highlight on the top, little white there. And that's off-white. So I'm going to use a pink here in the maw, in that kind of outer mouth, and the tongue, and then in between the tines of the forks for the larger mouth there, to the edge of the circle. All right, cool. Now same thing with the same paint scheme with the tendrils. Put that green on there. Kind of do the green on the tendril itself. See all that texture popping out that we had we did with the paper towel when we twisted it? Really nice. Put that pink in the center there for the maw. Little maws on the end of the tentacles. Nice. Alright, looking good, looking good. Alright, now I'm going to use a cherry red. Kind of wet it down as a wash and paint those pink areas of the maw with it. So it gives some depth to it, some detail. The detail tends to pop out there. The lighter areas pop out. And I'll do the same thing with the smaller mouth here on the tentacle. Nice. Okay, now I'm going to use a brown wash. It's just brown acrylic craft paint and soap and water. And you want to get it to, you know, a nice dark enough consistency that you'll like it. So there we go, yeah. So it really, see how that texture is really popping out there? Really nice. Same thing with the tendril here. Paint the brown on there. Brown wash. There we go. Cool. All right, now I'm going to do a little bit of highlight on the fangs there in the maw after the wash dries. Paint the little fangs on the end there. Just with that off-white. Any areas you may have missed. Cool. Same on the tendril mouths. Backside there. Couldn't be easier. Nice. Nice and vicious. All right, now I'm going to use kind of a golden brown. I like to do this because it kind of gives like a worn or old look to like claws and bones, and then just might wipe some of the excess off on the outer edges, so it gets darker towards this, you know, the end of it, as opposed to, you know, makes it look aged. So now I'm going to kind of pull out with a little more highlight there, and really looking cool. Same with the smaller maws on the tendrils. And we are good to go. Oh wait, one last thing here. I'm going to paint some lighter brown on the base so it looks like dirt. All right, let's hit it. Let's hit the table.
The horses tied up, the gear unpacked, and the fire lit. All is calm against the backdrop of the stormy sky fading to black. A rustle from the surrounding trees piques your attention. Into the light of the campfire hobbles an old woman. A hoe for a cane, a patchwork bag slung over her forearm, she wobbles hastily towards your campfire.
Well met, dearies, well met. Met here.
She croaks happily through exhaled smoke, pushing her way into your circle around the fire. She warms her wrinkled old hands in its glow, holding the smouldering remnants of a cigar. She smiles around at you with the few brown teeth she has left.
Do you mind if I rest my tired old legs in your camp?
She asks, plonking unsteadily down on a tree log and unpacking a well-wrapped snack from her bag.
Sure. The road just gets longer and longer every year, doesn't it, dearies? Yes.
She gobbles down a sweet-smelling cold meat pie and babbles through the crumbs as she masticates the meal.
You lot sure have picked a nice spot, haven't you?
She continues, looking around at the trees and down at the ground, which she pokes inquisitively with the handle of her hoe. She dabs some ash off what's left of her stogie.
All that damn mud just makes the whole endeavour that much more difficult, dearies. Old age, the curse of us all. At least with all the comings and goings to Southwood for the festival, I've had a few ears to chew along the way.
She offers you a boiled pig's ear from her bag.
Me old mammy's recipe. I really do it to stretch the old bones. Moon festival, harvest festival, gatherings, doesn't matter. I'm all about keeping an eye on people on the road. You foreign types don't know what sort of things lurk around here.
She glances around her feet, gripping her hoe.
This is me trusted companion, dearie. A finely crafted implement by the blacksmithery in Foosterberg. A weapon made to my own specifications.
She swings it deftly to prove her point.
For combating the things that lurk, dearie. Me family's all wiped out, dearies. Gone from this god's-forsaken old bag of a world. First time I met a Sarlakarn, that was.
She shakes her hoe and glares at the ground beneath her feet. She tosses the final wet mush of her cigar into the flames. Another appears out of her bag. She breaks off the end and shoves the new cigar into the flaming coals. She sits back and drags a mouthful of smoke.
Oh, dearies, you have yet to meet one of those old bags of acid and bile.
Smoke pours out of her mouth in great clouds.
Took me whole family, one did. Been keeping an eye out for them for all this time. Found a few. Great beast that's all belly and mouth. Eat all manner of creatures and people. Great tentacles with more mouths that bite at you and spit acid. You'll be very sorry you encountered one, dearies.
Ahabet stands up, picking up her hoe. She calmly puts her hand into her bag. When her hand retracts, it reveals a small, tightly bound pouch. A short wick of twine protrudes from the contents within. She pushes a cigar into the twine, which bursts into a flame. She tosses it at a snake-like tentacle you can see rising up behind her. The tentacle catches it in its row of sharp teeth and it explodes. The ground shakes.
Hope you enjoyed that fun little vignette told by Gareth from DMG Info, my good friend. And here we go. We got miniatures miniatures next to it. See how big it is, right? I love the tendrils. The mouths on there are so fun. And the wires really give it a nice structure inside there. Now, yeah, the body is just so great. And I love that maw. It's just so threatening. One last thing I did with this is I added a little bit of a gloss to it. I forgot to add that in the video. Just add a little bit of gloss, a little bit of gloss to the mouth, and that gave it a little bit of shine like wet. There's the folded paper towel on the bottom. And yeah, there we go. There's a Sarlakarn for you. Nice, nasty critter. Have fun, guys, and I hope you enjoy Quest Givers modules. Hey friend, I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, why not give me a like, right? Also subscribe. I have hundreds of videos for you to peruse. I've been doing this for years. Tons, just about any subject you can think of. I've got tons of videos. Check those out. Subscribe. Also, check out my links below the video. I also have a website at dmscraft.com. And anything you buy from that will give me a little bit of kickback, affiliate links. So that's a nice way to help support the channel, and it's no extra cost to you, and I appreciate everyone who's done that. Also, I want to give a shout out to the quest givers, right? This is kind of a crossover vid with the questovers, and Gareth at the DMG Info and I are doing modules at quest givers, and you can purchase those on the website. So check those out. This monster comes from those modules, so check them out. And you guys take care. Go forth and craft and quest. Go forth and quest also.